following is a presentation of Main Street Media, your source for news, sports, and information on Main Street in Middle Tennessee.
Yeah, I'm joined by
Are you sure?
Mo Patton. I sound terrible, and I don't know if it's well, it could very well be my headphones. Do I sound okay to you?
You sound fine. You don't sound any different.
Okay,
to me.
well, that makes sense, and we appreciate you guys being here with us. It's going to be a lot of fun as I help us get through the audio portion of this as well. So should be a good day. Should be a good day. We've done this before. We can make it work.
I'm not sure what your definition of a good day is, but okay.
Well, it's a great day because it's 60-something degrees and sunny outside, and comparatively speaking,
there is that. There is that, because Mo ain't about being cold. So
man, what a crazy weekend in sports it was, and we're gonna get to a lot of stuff today. Not only was the weekend crazy, but up until now on Monday has been crazy. We've got a couple of huge stories that have come out.
huge, you said, huh?
Huge accent. Oh man. God, the puns are flowing today. The puns are flowing. That's all good.
And it's still early.
Yes, it is. And my contact's all messed up, and it's anyway. No one cares about the plight. Let's just tell them about the sports, Mo. Although I will say, first birthday party was a success. Although 8:00 on Friday night, I received the gift that my daughter and wife had been dealing with during the week.
You were warned.
I was, in fact. And then Saturday we had some friends over, and at least
they received the gift.
At least two of them
huh?
received the gift, and one of them is in Scottsdale, Arizona with it. They left Sunday,
Oh, goodness.
got to Scottsdale, and upon arrival, found out that they received the gift as well.
That sounds like the time that I had that I got food poisoning down in the quarter, and got back to town, and yeah, not good, not pretty.
Oh
yeah.
Man, you got to be careful with the stomach. That's all I'm saying. Because it doesn't care. It has two options. It can go up or down, and
neither
sometimes
of them is pretty,
and sometimes both. So anyway, it's been a crazy weekend for us, man. A crazy weekend. We tried to relax yesterday, and then at the end of the day, we realized we had done nothing, and had to scramble at the end of the day to get some things done and get the kid to bed. Of course, she slept all night, so we're good. Everything's good right now. We're living in the moment.
Knock on simulated wood.
Yes, whatever. Press wood.
Yeah.
Press wood. All right. We have a lot to get to, including, like I said, huge stories like huge accent and high school wrestling, high school hoops, college hoops, both men's and women's, baseball. We're going to talk about, obviously, Major League Baseball's deadline is today. Will they get anything done? Probably not. Looks like the start time is going to be pushed back. Maren Angus of Saturday Down South, their softball writer, or a softball writer for them, will join us to talk about college softball and the season that's coming up. And then we've got a lot to get to in that last segment where we kind of go through all the other stories that have kind of come out through the day. So let's get into it with the weekend's results and today's schedule, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's do that on the rundown. So let's not do that though. Let's do this. There we go. Today's rundown is brought to you by Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org. You can check out their campus today. Just check out zioneagles.org and schedule an appointment, or you can also give them a call, and I'll tell you what their phone number is in just a minute. 931-388-5731. I haven't said it in a while. Anyway, Zion Eagles, proud sponsor of today's rundown. Mo, hit them.
High school boys basketball action over the weekend. These are region quarterfinal results on the boys side from Saturday night. In 6-4A, it was Franklin defeating Summit 67-56. Independence with a 47-46 win over Hillsborough. Columbia Central defeated Brentwood 45-43. And White County in region 4-3A defeated Lawrence County 48-39.
In 5-2A action, Summertown down White House Heritage 69-57. It was Harpeth 61, Loretto 59, ending the Mustang season. In Region 5 Class 1A, Fayetteville down Culleoka, ending the Warrior season 71-49. Richland continues on their trek back to the Glass House 52-36 over Cornersville. And Santa Fe downs Eagleville 62-51.
In girls basketball action, results from Friday night. Region 6-4A, it was Brentwood defeating Columbia Central 50-32. Hillsborough downed Independence 58-39. Summit with a 67-57 win over Franklin. In Region 4-3A, it was Livingston Academy 45, Lawrence County 37.
In 5-2A, Loretto, a big win over Fairview 76-31. It was Summertown 48, Sycamore 31. Huntland ends Richland season 62-30. It was Wayne County 45, Fayetteville 42 on a last-second buzzer beater to take down. Yeah, Fayetteville was tied 42-42 with about 3 seconds to go, and Drano to end it.
There you go.
Moore County ends Santa Fe season 54-11.
NCAA men's basketball action over the weekend. Third-ranked Auburn goes into Thompson Bowling Arena and meets the same fate as two other previous top 6 teams, falling to number 17, Tennessee, 67-62. Mississippi State with a 74-69 win over Vanderbilt. It was Lipscomb 81, Central Arkansas 66 in ASUN play. Conference USA, Middle Tennessee State claims the Eastern Division Championship with a 69-52 win over Western Kentucky. Belmont defeats Tennessee State 87-67 in OVC action, and also Austin P with a
you know what? I don't know the answer to that. I think it was 64-61.
With a 64-61 win over Eastern Illinois,
Maybe. NCAA women's action, Lipscomb downs Central Arkansas 50-46 in overtime, 97-93. Talk about a barn burner. Western Kentucky gets the best of the Lady Raiders, but man, what a game. Belmont downs Tennessee State 82-44. Eastern Illinois beats Austin P 68-56 in SEC play. 8th ranked LSU 57, 16th ranked Tennessee 54. We'll talk about that later. And Vanderbilt falls to Alabama 77-71.
Junior college basketball action over the weekend. The TSSAA tournament cranked up over at Dyersburg State on Saturday. On Saturday, Columbia State defeated Jackson State 60-57 and advanced. On Sunday, the Columbia State Lady Chargers fell to Cleveland State 71-65, ending their season.
All right, NCAA baseball action. Let me see if I can figure this out. Illinois defeats Middle Tennessee State. They split a 2-game series, 7-4 Illinois, and then 17-10. Middle gets the win. And apparently field goals were key in that one. 18th ranked Tennessee. Well, they destroyed Iona 27-1, 29-0, and 12-2 in 7 innings. They finally just threw in the towel. 5th ranked Vanderbilt, a 7-2 winner against Army in the first game, 10-7 in the second game, but it was 10-2 before a 5-run ninth. Made it a little bit closer. And then they downed the Knights 6-0 in the finale. Pittsburgh defeats Lipscomb 16-0 and 6-5 over the weekend. Good luck with these softball scores.
Number 17, Tennessee with an 8-0 win over UC San Diego. Then The Lady Vols drop a 5-2 decision to Oregon State. Then they drop a 9-8 decision to number 1 Oklahoma and a 2-1 decision to number 6 UCLA. There we go. So
yeah, there was a lot.
That was a lot. So Tennessee dropped 3 or 4, but all 3 of those were to ranked foes. Oklahoma State sweeps Tennessee State 9-0 and 5-0. Tennessee State also lost to Texas Southern 9-0. Mississippi State sweeps Belmont 8-0 and 7-3. And in a single game, the Raging Cajuns of Louisiana Lafayette, they don't like being called that though. Louisiana defeats Lipscomb 11-3.
I didn't know Belmont had softball.
I don't know what to tell you.
For some reason, I was under the impression they did not have softball.
They do. Anyway, NHL action.
Lightning over the Preds in the Stadium Series 3-2. Grizzlies defeat the Bulls 116-110 in NBA action. And MLS, Nashville Soccer Club over the Seattle Sounders 1-0 last night.
Tonight's high school girls basketball action. 5-2A semifinals at Mount Pleasant. Summertown takes on Cheatham County at 6, followed by White House Heritage at and Loretto. Goodness, 7:30. 6-4A semifinals at Summit. The host Lady Spartans take on Hillsborough at 6, followed by Brentwood and Ravenwood at 7:30.
JUCO basketball action at Columbia State's men take on Roan State. That's at 4 p.m. this afternoon at Dyersburg State. So check that out as they continue their quest. And in NBA action, the Grizzlies host the Spurs at 7 p.m. tonight. That's going to do it for today's rundown. All right, we got
not a moment too soon.
Yeah, we got a little bit of time here, but you know what? We'll get to it. Mm-hmm. Hugh Jackson Foundation inadvertently, I guess, admits to tax evasion on Twitter.
I can't see them doing it intentionally.
Well, I mean, I guess innocent until proven guilty. I guess unless you confess.
Exhibit A.
Oh.
I rest my case. Yeah. You gonna live?
My contact's about to fall out. Anyway, like literally, it's not in my eye anymore. So yeah, there's that. Yeah, we'll get to Hugh Jackson committing tax evasion a little bit later in the show. Let's talk high school sports when we come back, though. Mo got a chance to finish out the wrestling this weekend, and then plenty of hoops action as well. So stick around. We'll be back on Main Street Sports today. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee, because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Welcome back into Main Street Sports today. Chris Yao, Mo Patton, JP Plant at the house, but making sure the commercials get run and the bills get paid. It's always good. telling you what's happening on the screen there. I'm doing my best to keep the audio from going nuts, but it is what it is. This weekend was big in high school sports. Obviously, we crowned some state champions in wrestling. As we told you, if you missed any part of Friday's show, definitely go back and check it out. Even though it's technically, old news, but there was a lot of great information in there. A lot of great guests that stopped by as we were out on location at the TSSAA State Wrestling Championships. So anyway, go back and check that out. But several champions were crowned over the weekend, Mo, and some of them even from down here in southern Middle Tennessee.
Exactly. Yeah. Congratulations to Summit sophomore Jarvis Little, whose dad graced us for a couple of minutes on Friday and kind of spoke it into existence.
Mm-hmm.
Jarvis coming through with the 1-0 win over Hunter Heflin of Arlington to take the 120-pound Class AA state championship, becoming Summit's first boys wrestling champion.
Wow.
And you have to qualify it because back in 2016, Jayla Grimes, who went on to run track at North Carolina Asheville, multi-sport athlete.
Huh.
We like them.
Yeah, we do.
She won the 148-pound girls state championship as a senior in 2016. So Jarvis, not the first wrestling champion, but the first boys wrestling champion at Summit, and the second for Pete Miller. And Finley Jamison just came up a little bit short of joining Jarvis shortly after getting pinned in the third period of his 145-pound championship match. So tough finish for Finley, who finished second, but I guarantee you it'll motivate him for the next 360 something days.
Oh, no question. Yeah, that kid, that kid is seriously motivated. Just watching him get ready for a match. I've seen him a couple of times now, and he's just one of those kids where you don't know where he's looking and how he knows where he's going when he's jogging around, getting warmed up. You're just like, dude, you can blink.
Nope.
He's intense. Love watching that kid.
He's very intense and another multi-sport guy. He played linebacker
and is a monster.
And what's crazy is, again, he wrestled 145 in the finals on Saturday. He probably played at 165 or 170 this fall.
Probably.
So do the math. It's pretty crazy, some of the stuff that these wrestlers put themselves through to get on the mat and compete at a high level. And so kudos to them. Also, Brooklyn Long for Independence defeated Summit's Emma Stevenson for the 138-pound state championship. So congratulations to her as well. And we've got coverage, again, of all of the local state wrestling action at the website mainstreetmurray.com. So be sure and go check that out. And we had a handful of other medalists besides the first and second. So Russell Ford from Independence finished second at 113. Riley Lent from Independence finished second at 100 on the girls' side. And again, a handful of other folks that were on the medal stand. And so go and check all of them out. Do want to mention tough go in the finals for our Friday guest, Will Parcell from Page. Went into the finals undefeated at 62-0, as we mentioned on the show, and just could never get anything going against Logan Heckert of Sycamore. Wound up getting majored 13-0. Heck of a season. Tough way to end it.
Definitely not the way you want to go out, but again, motivation. And
he's a senior.
Yeah, but I don't think the last time he'll see a mat.
We'll see. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully, but as we talked to him, he was motivated by his older brother Chris, who I think finished 5th a few years back. So he does still have bragging rights at the house.
At least at the
At
house,
least, yeah. So
he was a good kid. I enjoyed talking to him and listening to him talk to you mostly because, again, all I was worried about was that jacket he had on. So,
Also in Class A, Will's teammate Grant Hawkinson finished second at 132. Fairview had a couple of champions, Kendrick Curtis and Jacob Clevenger. And Lawrence County's Samuel Bradley placed 6th at 195. And he had a tough go because he basically lost on a defensive pin. He was trying to execute a move, got caught on his back, and boom, done.
That's brutal.
Yeah, it was tough. He was winning the match 6-2 at the time. I mean, it doesn't get much tougher than that. So very unfortunate.
It'd be like scoring an own goal in overtime in hockey.
Yeah. that's a fair comparison.
That's unfortunate.
Very, very.
All right. Also, over the weekend, some basketball teams ended their seasons. As we told you a little bit earlier in the rundown, teams like Culleoka and Loretto's boys, Lawrence County, Summit's boys, Columbia Central's girls, Independence's girls, Lawrence County's girls, Richland's girls, and Santa Fe all say goodbye to the 2021-22 basketball season.
I think Loretto's boys may have been the only ones to lose at home, though.
Yeah, that was a little surprising. Harpeth coming in and
it's a little surprising on its face, but at the same time, that's a 3 and a 2, and
yeah, those are going to be kind of toss ups, and that's what you hope for. Those
unless you're Loretto,
those 1-4 matchups were outside of Wayne County, Fayetteville girls, and
not so fast, my friend.
Columbia Central
and
Brentwood.
Yeah.
Outside of those two, there just wasn't a whole lot of drama.
Not a whole lot of drama in the 1-4s, but yeah, that Columbia Central Brentwood kind of made up for it.
So explain to me, I read the story and you said, so with a minute to go, they're down 7?
With a minute 42 to go.
Gotcha.
They were down 7. By the 43-second mark, they were up 2.
Goodness gracious, with that Malachi Horton layup.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
Yeah, they really turned up the defense, and it got crazy.
So I'm going to ask you about the controversial charge call, because the way it was explained to me. I can
just tell you it was trash.
The way it was explained to me, and you tell me if this is accurate, because this comes from a Columbia Central cheerleader's dad. All right. Also known as my landlord. Ball is knocked away on an inbound. Q picks it up, turns to lay it up, and the guy standing there falls down. They call a foul on Q.
Basically.
That is insane.
Well, I will tell you this. And we've had conversations about officials before, and we as you say, we've worn the stripes. It's not easy. But there was one guy on that crew Saturday night that I don't think he made a single call in Columbia Central's favor.
Well,
and I mean, if that's what you see, that's what you see, but
call what you see what you call.
The second part of that kind of being the key.
Yeah. You got to make sure you see it before you call it.
Yeah. Because I think there were some things that he called that he did not see.
Or was anticipating.
Maybe.
Potentially. And that happens.
But
it's happened to me.
And I think particularly with Columbia Central's athleticism, you can expect something that isn't necessarily going to be there.
Oh yeah. Oh, there's no question. Especially if you're used to calling
a slower pace
game,
a lesser athletic
league. Absolutely. There's no question there. But to that point, I don't know, and I didn't go through the entire bracket, but I don't know of a single 4-1 upset.
I don't.
Which And I'm talking about statewide.
Mm-hmm.
Which brings me to the question that Joe Williams posed on Twitter. Is the tournament too big with 4 classes? Is there a good reason for 4 teams to make the region?
You know, I don't want to steal any of Joe's thunder, but Joe is far from the only one to bring that up.
No, yeah, absolutely. I'm just, he was the first one that I saw on Twitter do it. And I think it's a good question.
It's a great question. And, you know, here's the thing. I don't know if it's necessarily the 4 classes or not, but sorry, that's a little loud. Maybe it is the 4 classes, because now with 4 classes, you're seeing smaller districts, and you've got a lot of 5-team districts. There are some 4-team districts where everybody goes, and that's not good. But I mean, you saw a particular scoring disparity on Friday night with the girls.
For sure.
There were a lot of lopsided outcomes, and I don't know. Folks are saying maybe we should just take the top 2 teams from the district. Maybe we should just go back to 3 classifications. I wonder if you don't take the top 3, because that incentivizes.
Is this not the same conversation we've had with football? This is we want the football bracket.
Yeah.
Give me the 1 seed bye, make the 2-3s play, and now you have an incentive to win.
Yeah. And even more so in basketball, where already you've got a flawed postseason where teams can lose 3 games and still get to state in the current configuration. So, you know, 1 gets a bye, 2-3 play each other at the region level.
I mean,
I think what you saw in the quarterfinals, for the most part. Now, again, like you said, there were, to our knowledge, no 4s over 1s, but I tell you what, if that game is 30 minutes long instead of 32.
Polk County beat Sweetwater 42-40.
And Brentwood was right there.
They were. They absolutely had an opportunity, but Brentwood.
But that was certainly the exception. So
Gibson County, a 68-54 winner over Camden.
Is that boys or girls?
Boys. No, girls. I'm sorry.
Gibson County girls?
That can't be right. No, that's boys. Okay. I was like, Gibson County girls would not be a 4 seed.
No, that's true.
That's definitely. But I mean, it's still far more rare than, you know, is it necessary to have those 4 teams?
Yeah.
And I think with 4 classes, we got to make that decision, and that decision should be no.
What you have to realize also is that this is a 2-year classification period.
That's true.
And
it could potentially go back.
I think that some things are going to be evaluated strenuously, and you know, given the lack of support suddenly for 4 classes, we may be going back.
I was going to say, you know, we talk all the time about how you can't put that genie back in the bottle. This might be one of those genies.
Genie may go back. I think there's a possibility, certainly, that this genie could go back in the bottle, that we could go back to 3 classes. And I think this past weekend that we just went through may have a lot to do with it. Now, it'll be interesting to see when we get to baseball and softball in spring, how that impacts it. But right now, and also how the state tournament gets executed with 4 8-team brackets for both boys and girls.
It's just going to be a long week.
Yeah, it starts
2
on
weeks.
Tuesday now.
On
right?
2 weeks.
As if it's not long enough.
It's already long enough. Can we not do a whole extra day? Yeah, I think it could be. I think we could see it go back in the bottle, which would be it would be almost unprecedented for something like that. I mean, you just don't see classes cut.
Yeah.
And if you see
you don't see championship opportunities eliminated.
Right.
So,
typically.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Anyway, should be interesting, man. I'm looking forward to it. But we're going to talk NCAA hoops on the other side of this break because Tennessee, not alone in their toppling of a top 6 team over the weekend. Matter of fact, there were 6 teams who toppled top 6 teams over the weekend. So the AP poll is nuts. Yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about Lady Vols hoops. We'll talk a little bit about Vol baseball and more coming up on Main Street Sports Today. Y'all stick around. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today. Mo Patton, Chris Yao, JP Plant, as we are reacting on Reaction Monday to all of the things that happened over the weekend. We've talked high school sports. Now we move into the college sports. We'll get to pro sports later, and we just continue all the reactions here on Main Street Sports Today. Glad to have you with us. If you're watching on Twitter at ms_sports today, we appreciate it. If you are on Facebook or YouTube as well, always a lot of fun to have you guys watching us. If you're not watching us or you want to listen to us at your leisure, you can find us on your podcast platform of choice. It is archived daily after the show. We'll get it up as quickly as we can to your podcast distribution platform. So yeah, check it out. Mo, I'll be honest with you. So obviously Charlie's party started at 2:00. Tennessee at Auburn starts at 3. I'm kind of busy, but I turned it on. My dad was there. He was in the chair and he was like, sounds good. Turn it on. So turn it on. I'm kind of paying attention as things are going. And Tennessee, I think, was up, 25-21 at halftime, something like that. Or
You're asking me like I know.
Tennessee was winning at halftime or was right before halftime. I'm not sure exactly because, again, I'm just kind of glancing as I go through. Second half starts, and Auburn just comes out on fire. They're up like 10. With about, I guess, at about the first media timeout. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, no, we're good. We're not watching this anymore. So I turned on some softball. And later I get the ESPN notification that Tennessee has won the game.
So years and years and more years ago, we're having a gathering at my house for the UT Notre Dame game. up at South Bend where they got bound real bad, and a friend of mine would get physically ill over the prospect of UT losing in a football game. We had to turn it off. We turned it on something else. Quarter and a half later, maybe, score scrolls across. UT's closed the gap pretty significantly. We turned it back on, saw the win. So at least we got lucky enough to see the end of it, as opposed to you finding out long after that they had come back and won it. What, 67-62 was the final?
Yes, 67-62 over Auburn was the final. And it's funny because this has happened to me a couple of times this year where I just, I don't need to watch it. I can watch something else. I can turn on Bluey or whatever. And then I'm just not going to stress over it.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever happens, happens. At the end of the game, I'm just like, all right, cool. They won or they lost. Well, it's pretty cool when they end up winning and you're surprised about it. So it was classic Tennessee basketball, streaky, but also in the fact that this is a team that they have the ability to take over basketball games. And defensively is how they do that. They are able to force you to make bad decisions with the basketball and then capitalize. When they do those two things, whether they're shooting well or not, they can beat you anyway, because turnovers turn into layups, and layups almost always go in, unless you're Vanderbilt against Alabama.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is a really good basketball team most of the time, and at TBA, still undefeated.
Still undefeated at TBA now, as UT detractors continue to point out. They won't be playing any postseason games at TBA.
They will not.
At least not any that matter.
That's correct.
I mean, I guess if they were in the NIT, but I don't think
they're going to be in the NIT.
I don't think that's going to be the case. So they won't be playing any postseason games at TBA. So, but the good thing is that the cliche is defense travels.
That's right. Defense does, in fact, travel. Auburn, not the only top 6 team to go down. Matter of fact, 7 of the top 10, including all of the top 6 teams, fell over the weekend. And
so what is this week's top?
The top 25, and here's the thing, I've seen it. I know Gonzaga is still number 1.
Even though they lost.
Despite losing at St. Mary's.
Because everybody else behind them lost.
Well, here's the thing. Gonzaga is still number 1. They lost at number 23 St. Mary's, right? Auburn goes from 3rd to 5th after losing at number 17 Tennessee.
Arizona stays at number 2.
Despite losing. Now, I don't know if they lost to a ranked team or an unranked team or what, but they lost. Kansas lost. Kentucky lost at Arkansas, who, by the way, is pretty darn good. Duke moves up. They won. Duke moves into the top 5. So it's Gonzaga, Arizona, Baylor, Duke, Auburn, Kansas, Kentucky, and then Purdue, who also lost. Providence and Wisconsin round out the top 10. Tennessee has moved up to 13th from 17th, while Arkansas is tied for 14th from 18th. And St. Mary's has moved up to 19th.
How about them racers?
Still going strong, 28-2 on the season, ranked 22nd in the country. Alabama. Did Alabama win and drop?
Were they in the top 25?
They were 24th last week.
Well, they dropped then because they're 25th this week.
I'm trying to figure out if they won. I don't remember, to be honest with you. So yeah, I have no idea. But it just goes to show that this particular season in the SEC specifically. Yeah, Alabama won 90-71 at home against South Carolina. So,
and fell.
And dropped, but whatever.
Meanwhile, Gonzaga loses and
stays number one.
Yeah.
This SEC is, and we've talked about on the show, is just deep and wide, and going on the road and getting a win anywhere is impressive.
5 SEC teams in the top 25 this week. So
Auburn seems to think that playing with Nike basketballs is the issue, or at least some fans have mentioned that, because all of their losses have been on the road and to teams who use Nike basketballs, which is a unique thought. I mean, very well could be. I don't know. Although with that win, Tennessee has an outside shot now. If they win out and Auburn loses one of their last 3 conference games, Tennessee would actually be the 1 seed in the tournament, which is wild to think about after, this season and the way it's kind of gone up and down.
But I think it again just points to how wild this season has been.
Oh yeah, no question.
And in all likelihood will continue to be.
Yeah, I don't see this one stopping anytime soon. Lady Vols struggled early against LSU, battled back, was able to get it. I think they tied it at one point.
I don't remember if they tied it or if they just got it down to 2.
But either way.
No, they did tie it.
I thought they did.
They did tie it, and then they turned it over a couple of times late. And as we talked to Michelle Vopel, JP and I did earlier this year, and she pointed out UT's propensity for turning the ball over at inopportune times, and it bit them again yesterday as they were trying to get up the game tying shot on a couple of occasions. They turned it over, and against good teams, you just can't do that. And LSU is number 8 in the country for a reason. So,
yeah, absolutely. But Tennessee's without at least 2 of their best players. So you have to look at this in a little bit of a vacuum for Tennessee.
Well, I think you have to look at it in a little bit of a vacuum, but you also have to be realistic about it, because you don't know when either of them is coming back. And at some point, you're going to have to win a game without them, or continue to say, "Hey, if we had Horston and Green."
Well, here's the best part about that. Oh, I'm talking long term. You can see that Kelly Harper's teams are overachieving with some players that probably shouldn't be at that level, right? I mean, obviously Ray Burrell is a great leader, and she's going to continue to be for the rest of the year, hopefully, so long as she stays healthy. But if Kelly Harper is able to do this with this group, give her a couple of years to get some.
Well, I mean, if that's the viewpoint, if that's the perspective that you're taking, then yeah, that's fine. I mean, she definitely has this thing headed in the right direction. Again, they got to take better care of the ball, but for the most part,
she's not out there to do it.
Well,
and she was real good at it.
Well, what are we looking at? Are we looking at the coaching job that Kelly Harper has done, or are we looking at the performance of the Lady Vols?
I think both. And here's the perspective I'm taking is that Kelly Harper, I'm not upset that they lost to LSU. I'm not upset they lost to UConn. I'm not upset that they lost to these to really good basketball teams, because I don't think they should have been competing with those teams this year. Based on what she had, based on the injuries that have happened throughout the year, I think she's overachieving. So I'm looking at this going, you know what? She's got a mediocre to average team playing above average. And I'm okay with that.
Okay.
But yes, if we wanted them to be successful this year, if they want them to be a top 16 seed, and
but the thing is that's all been there for them being a top 16 seed is there.
Yeah.
It's still there. And
if you had Horston and Green, it'd probably be a lot easier, but you don't. So you got to look at it in that perspective too. Yes. If ifs and buts were candy and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas and the Lady Vols would have a top 16 team.
I just feel like if you overachieve for an entire season, did you overachieve?
That's a good question, but I think so. I think what she's done with this team was not expected by anyone. And that's impressive. And I'm happy for the future. I'm taking this as it is.
Here's my thing. I get being happy for the future. I don't have a problem with being happy for the future. I think that people that have watched this program since Pat Summitt stepped aside have been waiting for a long time. And
a lot of people aren't as patient as me.
Otherwise, I'm not sure how patient some of those people are at this point.
Get some patience because it's headed in the right direction, folks.
And for Chris, that's going to have to be enough, apparently. So
it is for now. Mm-hmm. Next year we can talk. Let's talk about something else because we are way past the break and JP's over here yelling at us. So anyway, let's take a halftime break. It'll be really short, but we'll be right back here on Main Street Sports Today. Stick around.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee. Because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Mo, I don't know if you saw, there was a tweet out there where this lady, let me see if I think I've got it. I think I sent it to myself. Yeah. What's a reasonable temperature in the winter? My boyfriend and I cannot agree on this, and it's an ongoing fight. I say 80 to 82 is perfect. He says 75 to 77 max, and I say both of them are nuts.
80 to 82?
80 to 82. My power bill's $450 and I don't have it up above 71.
80 to 82.
It's insane.
I mean, that's literally walking into hell.
Yeah.
Good God. No.
No, thank you.
No. I mean, 68 to 72.
Is perfect.
Right around there.
That's where I'm at. Okay, just making sure we're all in agreement here. So. Yeah. 75 to 77 is the boyfriend, so he's crazy too. Which I'm okay with 75 if like it's gotta be, but I mean
80 to 82 though.
That's
no.
I'd just have to kick her out.
You would just implode at that.
I got nothing. I just saw the tweet and I thought this is insane.
You just leave them to that. Good luck.
There
I'll
you go.
figure it out. But yeah, call me when it gets down to about 72-ish.
Oh, let's talk about that huge story about Huge Axon. Right after this. Y'all stick around.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
Welcome back into Main Street Sports Today. Chris Yao, Mo Patton, JP on the controls back at the house. I am running the music, as you can tell. It is what it is. Second half coming up. We got Hugh Jackson talk about the MLB. Will the CBA get done in time to keep the season from being pushed back? Maren Angus joins us here momentarily in about 10 minutes to talk about college softball, and then we'll talk about Derek Jeter, who is apparently resigning down in Miami, and what in the world's going on with Kyler Murray. All that and more. Right now, though, Hugh Jackson Foundation apparently, now I'm not exactly sure how this all started, but
it all started when they were trying to defend the hiring of Art Briles.
All right. Which is what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
I was
trying unsuccessfully, by the way.
The defense of the hiring of Art Briles as offensive coordinator at Grambling State has led to poor decisions on the part of the Hugh Jackson Foundation, who, let's just put it this way. All right. So Dan Murphy at Dan Murphy ESPN, the Hugh Jackson Foundation collected $158,000 in 2019, the most recent tax information available. It paid out $115,000 to its sole paid employee and spent another $15,000 on travel, and it gave out roughly $4,000 in grants. Foundation's website does not have any public events listed in 2021 or 2022. The last annual report about their work is from 2018. Hugh Jackson Foundation 3 hours ago, Hugh Jackson FDN on Twitter, still continuing to have this tweet up, by the way, has not been deleted yet. What you failed to report is that where that money came from. Hugh Jackson was the largest donor, and he personally donated over 75% of the funds. I personally donated from my salary back into the organization as well.
Whoever I is.
There's that. Now here's what's funny is this is tax evasion, right? This is alleged tax evasion. But I actually had a tweet over the weekend that was very similar to this in public employees who are paid by tax dollars. Why do they pay taxes? It's kind of the same thing, right? He put his part of his salary back into the foundation. It's kind of like, well, if I'm a public employee paying taxes, I'm just putting part of my salary back into the foundation. So how come that's not see? Anyway, I just thought that was a unique comparison there, but this is insane. Like I can't for the life of me understand why the Hugh Jackson Foundation is trying to defend the hiring of Art Briles. The letter they sent out basically said that they have been dedicated to fighting against all forms of sexual abuse and exploitation, as well as other forms of racial and social bias, et cetera, et cetera. The hire of Coach Briles is a testament to the importance of these key factors: forgiveness, redemption, and enlightenment. So, signed by Hugh Jackson, and apparently it looks like Kimberly Dimert is the executive director, who is probably the $115,000 employee who was putting their money back in.
I think.
And has one heck of a signature.
I saw it. Yeah. I think sometimes the best thing to do is shut up. I mean, period. Just sometimes it's okay to not say anything. And you hired the guy. You've made your decision. Why do you feel the need to defend it?
Oh, I'm fixing to blow your mind. Do you know who Kimberly Dimer is? Outside of the executive director of the Hugh Jackson Foundation?
I will say the name sounds familiar, but I don't know where I know it from.
Dimert, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
She's also his attorney, who was obviously making statements during the Brian Flores situation, right? That's where you've heard the name before. How can you be an attorney and then get on Al Gore's internet, log on to the Bird app, and commit to a crime or confess to a crime?
Yep.
Commit, admit, confess, those 3 words.
Say that you did something illegal. Yeah.
What are you doing, Kimberly?
What does that mean? Oh, no, baby. What is you doing?
Yes. Oh, what is you doing? No. As your unlicensed attorney, keep this tweet. It's fine, Bum Chillips says. It was my favorite Twitter account. Anyway. Yeah. Okay, here's the thing. Who gets to keep the money from because if you report to the IRS somebody who's evading taxes, you get like 10% of how much they get back. Who gets that? Do we just all share it among all Twitter users?
No,
or
I think Kimberly Deemert gets it since she
reported it. There you go.
That's how she's getting back the salary that she donated back,
I guess.
Unreal.
This is one of the craziest stories. Anyway, I just thought that, how much longer is Hugh Jackson the coach at Grambling? They can't keep him at this point, right?
There you go, applying logic to an illogical situation. I mean, they hired him. They stood behind him hiring Browse. Or why are they going to abandon him now?
He may be in prison. I mean,
the wheels of justice turn slowly, though.
That's true.
So
much slower than the wheels on the bus.
Yeah.
They go round and round. Trust me, I know.
All through the town.
Yes. I know all of the things on the bus.
Bet you do.
I don't know what all of them do. So Major League Baseball's deadline today to get the CBA done, or the season will be pushed back. We're going to talk about that later, but when we come back, we are going to talk some college softball with Maren Angus, who writes for Saturday Down South. So join us as we dive into college softball. Man, the season is upon us, and it's been a good one so far. So stick around. We'll be right back on Main Street Sports Today. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee, because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports today. Mo, I've told you several times we have this headphone amplifier here in the studio, and I'm able to pick up through my headset radio signals. And as I turned the audio off from our system, JP, I got rickrolled. Never Gonna Give You Up immediately starts playing in my headphones. And I'm like, how in the world do you get rickrolled on your own radio show? Ain't that something? Ridiculous. But it is what it is. Mo, I'm excited because we get a chance to talk to one of our favorite people about one of our favorite sports, and that is college softball, as the sport has, I guess, blossomed in popularity in recent years. Super excited about it because I mean, I've been watching it for a long time and I absolutely love it. And I'm excited to talk to Maren Angus, who writes for Saturday Down South. Maren, how are you?
Well, first of all, I can see myself on your show.
Hold on. I have them muted. Maren, how are you?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
It's amazing what happens when we unmute our guests or our hosts.
Well, there's that. Yeah.
I feel like I can see myself on this show, and this hasn't happened yet. So this is new.
I think it's going to be just fine.
Are you sure? Because I'm going to ditch the glasses because I get like a glare, you know.
Wait. So are those like actual glasses, or you said you've been doing house chores, so they're not like safety glasses or anything? You haven't been dusting and all that.
No. These are my blue light prescription glasses.
Ooh, nice.
You can just see your reflection in them, you know? Like
you have blue, you know, you look like one of those the memes with the red eyes, like you just got beat by what. That's exactly what it was.
So anyway, Maren Angus of Saturday Down South. What do you expect out of this 2022 softball season? The first, year one A Odyssey. I mean, just the way the College World Series blew up last year and came onto everybody's radar. Do you feel like softball is ready to capitalize on that exposure that they got last year?
I feel like it is. And I'm going to say this. I've been texting some people who were out in California over the weekend at the Mary Nutter tournament out in Palm Springs. And that's a tournament that I used to go to every year. And I would just find myself a seat at each field and be able to watch whatever game I wanted to. And this year, it was wall-to-wall people. And for those of you who have never been, the Mary Nutter tournament is played at Big League Dreams in Cathedral City. So they've got 2 quads where and you can watch all the softball you want to play. It's got the best of the best teams, and it's by far the best tournament, pre-season tournament, as we would call it, I think, in the country. And the highlight of the weekend was Oklahoma and Tennessee. There were over 5,000 people gathered around this one field in a ballpark. That is not a stadium. That is like going to your local Little League field and cramming 5,000 people around to watch 2 college softball teams duke it out in the second week of the season. So I think we're there if we've got 5,000 people trying to cram around to watch an early season game.
A February 26th, 27th game that apparently lived up to the hype with Oklahoma winning at 9-8.
It absolutely did. And now, granted, Jocelyn Allo is chasing the record-breaking home run, and I think everyone was gathered around every Oklahoma game this weekend wanting to see her hit it, and nobody wanted to pitch to her. So, so there is that as well.
Still, and Jocelyn Allo is probably the best position player in the country, if I had to guess. This is a player who has just absolutely dominated college softball over the last few years. Lauren Chamberlain, when you watched her play, you knew that she was the best player on the field every time she stepped on it. Jocelyn Allo has done that and surpassed it, to be honest with you. I mean, 30 or more home runs in the last 2 seasons, player of the year, Big 12 and USA softball, All-American. She's everything you want to see in a college softball player, and getting a chance to see her at all is a treat, Maren.
I remember watching her first game. I went out to see Oklahoma play. They were playing at Grand Canyon, and she had no media experience whatsoever. So interviewing her was a blast. And I remember looking out, Grand Canyon had just redone their softball field, and they out left field, they have a net that protects the dorm building behind it. And so the net is probably, I don't know, 20 feet high, maybe. I don't know. That's a guesstimate. And she
Not high
hit
enough.
her first shot over the net, and it bounced off the dorm building. And I was like, okay, this girl's legit. And and from there on out, she's just crushed it. And I tweeted out not too long ago, this final season for her, you can't script it any better if it goes the way that she probably wants it to go. And she is set up to break the career home run mark in Hawaii.
Which is her home
and
state.
She's from Hawaii. It's like, it gives me chills just thinking about it.
Maren, last year we saw James Madison make its way to Oklahoma City, and everyone rooting for that team. Is there this year's James Madison, and despite their recent success, would Liberty be considered that if they were to get to Oklahoma City?
I think they would fall into that category for sure. But then we have to think about, like, what James Madison being that Cinderella team, right? They were a powerhouse.
Yeah,
mean, they were not an underdog in a lot of series that they played. And if I had to pick like a Cinderella team that I think operates kind of similarly to a James Madison, is to look at Duke. It's their 6th year of existence. It's Team 5. It's their 5th year of existence. And they're a top 10 ranked program.
And thanks to Deja Davis, who is incredible.
Right. I mean, you've got I wouldn't call them local, but Chattanooga represented with Shelby Walters. I mean, so I think you have to strongly look at Duke.
The only thing though, Maren, is, people don't think of Power 5 programs in that Cinderella realm. Obviously, Duke is just getting it started, but for the most part, if you're a Power 5, you're almost automatically exempted from that Cinderella type talk.
True, but then when you look at how Duke has to operate as a program, it'd be like, you have to have certain grade point average just to get in. You have to maintain all of these things that a lot of other programs don't make you do. And the other part of it is the scholarship allotment for Duke, the the terms that they've got, they're just so strict with their Olympic programs at Duke that I think it puts them in that conversation.
Sure.
And the fact that they're brand new. I mean, look, last year they were a nationally ranked seed for the postseason and were sent to host in Athens.
That's true.
Like,
that's a little disrespectful.
It's a lot disrespectful.
I mean, how do you look at a program like that and say that you're going to be the number 1 seed and in a regional that you're not going to host? Come on.
You're right. And again, when you think about the ACC as a whole, Florida State, Clemson.
Now, Clemson is another new program.
Mm-hmm.
They are, Florida State specifically, though, this is an ACC that's obviously not as deep as maybe the SEC or the Big 12, but this is a conference that's not just a Johnny come lately.
No, the ACC is climbing fast. The other Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
I want to talk about this Clemson program for just a second, because this is their third year. You're talking about Duke being in their 5th year. This is Clemson's 3rd year, and I believe they've got a couple of local kids over there. Aaliyah Logaleo, who played at Hillsboro, had one of the biggest individual performances you've ever seen last year. I think she hit like 3 home runs and a triple, had like 13 RBIs in a game. And then there's a girl from Battleground Academy over there as well, or at least there was last year. I don't know if she's still there or not. Yeah, Kaya Keller. So they've done a pretty good job recruiting over this way as they've gotten themselves built up. So I don't know. I think Clemson is ranked as well in a lot of people's top 25. So, with Duke and Clemson both being startup ACC programs, I think that's a couple of teams worth kind of keeping an eye on it again, especially with the local input here.
Absolutely. Clemson for sure. Clemson, when we talk about, but once again, when we talk about like the comparison of program to program, I mean, Clemson, look at their stadium. Like, they've got the stadium, they've got the ticket sales, they've got the who's who of Clemson goes to the Clemson softball games. And I know Duke got overshadowed last year because their stadium is not anything to brag about. It's on the other side.
Which is why they had to host in Athens.
Right. So that's something you have to think about too, is how if they, I don't know if they already did. If you got to think for the future, like, how are you going to make your stadium compliant to host a regional?
That's kind of one of the things you get in small school basketball. We talked about, having to host a sub-state somewhere else because you don't have the capacity or something like that. It's just that's just things that happen when you don't have the financial backing that some other programs do. But with the rise of college softball, the fact that Duke started a program, the fact that Clemson started a program goes to show that they do have at least some sort of idea of how lucrative softball can be for their program and their athletics. That makes sense though, right?
That makes perfect sense. And then I'm looking down the road at, how much longer do we wait until Miami enters this conversation?
Hopefully a while. Because I feel like that shouldn't be fair.
Well, Maren, and to go back to a conversation that we had with you on a show, when does Vanderbilt enter this conversation?
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I got a text message from a friend of mine who is a big time Vanderbilt fan because he got an ad on Facebook and he sent it to me, and it was like one of those Fanatics ads where they pick your team and they send it, they're like, they totally target you, right? And he's a Vanderbilt fan. And it was a Vanderbilt softball t-shirt. And I was like, oh, come on. This is not real.
Exist, right? Yeah.
So I took that, I saved that screenshot he sent me and I sent it to Candace. And I was like, when is this happening? Is this a thing? What are we doing here? Why are they targeting for this? And she just laughed. She goes, I don't know why you got that.
If you can buy one though.
If I could buy one, I wonder if I still
I bet
could.
you can. I bet you can. I would be for it.
I might. If I could buy one, I'd be the first one to have it, right?
That might be something worth having, actually. Just kind of get out in front of it. Yeah.
Mo, this is like USN not having football, right? They have the football T-shirts that say USN like undefeated since whatever year the school started. We could do that. Vanderbilt softball undefeated since
18 whatever. Yeah.
Whatever.
That would be awesome.
That would be incredible. Maren Angus from Saturday Down South talking softball here with us. And one final thing, that obviously Southeastern Conference is huge here, and we'll have the Mid-State Classic coming up soon here in Columbia. Looking forward to that. Tennessee struggled. They lost 3 of 4 over the weekend to Oregon State, UCLA, and Oklahoma. But Alabama continues to look phenomenal. Number 2 in the country. Montana Fouts is everything that we expected her to be. Can anybody else in the Southeastern Conference come close to this Alabama team?
Missouri. That's my gut, and that was barely any hesitation on that. So I'm sold on Missouri, and I also think you can't sleep on Kentucky. So I know Kentucky tends to start slow, but that's Rachel Lawson has this mindset of having an RPI high enough to where she can start slow and be a host at the end of the season, which she consistently is a host, whether it's a 14, 15, or 16 seed. Kentucky has steadily been hosting regional tournaments at the end of the year. So I think those 2 teams are 2 to watch and give Alabama a fight. I watched Florida over the weekend. I'll be honest. It takes a lot to impress me from Florida. I watched them go toe to toe with a UCF team and end up with a score of 12-11. So it takes a lot for Florida to tell me, hey, like, we're here, we're in it. So, but I would definitely tell you Missouri and Kentucky.
There you go. That helps us. We appreciate it. And looking forward to getting more college softball coverage again at Maren_Angus on Twitter. You can find her work at SaturdayDownSouth.com. It is fantastic work that you guys are doing there, highlighting softball. We appreciate you, and thanks for coming on the show.
Well, thanks for having me. Now I know I can not do household chores all day next time. And
you're good though. Like, seriously, it's all fine. Trust me.
Okay. I don't think my mom will say the same thing.
You know what? Just the knowledge you bring will far outweigh whatever your mom or anyone else thinks about what you look like on this show. We think you look great, and we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Let's take a quick break here, and when we come back, Mo, we will get into our potpourri of reaction. It's a grab bag. It is instant reactions, first thoughts, and more. So stick around on Main Street Sports Day. We'll be back after this. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
Welcome back in. Reaction Monday here on Main Street Sports Today. Getting ready to give you our quickest reactions from across the world of sports. Man, what a weekend it was, and I wish JP could chime in, but Mo headed back from outside, so it's all good. It's all good. We'll get you our quickest reactions because, man, so much going on over this weekend. Seriously. Derek Jeter announced this morning that he is stepping down as CEO of the Miami Marlins. And as so many of our friends on Braves Twitter have made the obvious joke, he clearly realized that Ronald Acuna is the owner of the Miami Marlins, and he wanted to be out. So
we know who runs the Marlins.
We do, in fact, and it's definitely not Derek Jeter.
Yeah, you have to wonder, or maybe it's just obvious, that is some kind of way related to the
CBA
dissension between owners and players.
I mean, it certainly seems like it could be. Probably is. I don't know. I'm interested to see how it plays out for Miami and where they go from here. Basically, he just said that, the direction they were headed is not the direction that I signed up for. So, deuces.
I don't know what direction he signed up for that he thought was going to be any different.
I mean, that's why it makes me think it's CBA,
Mm-hmm.
because that's the only thing that's different. So, Kyler Murray's lawyer released a statement and then posted it on Wikipedia and just made he just rewrote the Wikipedia page. Kyler Murray basically stating, look, I want to win a Super Bowl here. I want to be the quarterback for the future, but I'm not happy, or you guys aren't treating me the way that I deserve to be treated, or I feel like I should be treated, blah, blah, blah. And Jeff Pearlman had a tweet that I absolutely loved. He said, look, this is my final thought. And as a sports person, fact is, people are figuring out Kyler, and is he really the guy who's going to take them to the next level? Because if I'm thinking of elite quarterbacks, I'm not thinking of Kyler Murray in the likes of Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes, etc. He's just not in that level.
And I think that's a reasonable perception. And it's got to be a little problematic if you're the Cardinals, probably a little problematic if you're Kyler Murray.
Yeah, especially when you have baseball as an option, eventually, maybe, potentially.
I think that's kind of the elephant in the room.
It absolutely is.
I mean, it's not like he is so deep into his NFL career or so far removed from
this isn't Michael Jordan taking 15 years off and trying to go play.
No. What's he going into year 4?
Probably. And he played in college.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like a reasonable time if you're going to make the move.
Mm.
Get out of that rookie contract and go play baseball. The Oakland Athletics would love to have you, sir.
Oh, without question. The only thing is, athletes having, I think to be a successful athlete, you have to have a good amount of ego. Can he get himself to the point? I mean, it's going to be an admission that I wasn't as good at football as I thought I was, or it's going to be perceived that way, whether that's what he's thinking or not. Is that the way he can go?
I think he is trying to alter public perception with this.
The Cardinals aren't as committed as I am.
Yes. And it might be working. I don't know. Anyway, it's
an interesting.
It certainly is
scenario
that we're going to have to keep an eye on.
I wonder though what the current state of baseball does to all of that. Well, it's not like he was going to be on a 40-man anyway, but still.
Right.
I think there's a lot to consider.
What is the latest out of baseball? I don't know that. I mean, I don't know what the latest is, but today is the deadline if they want to start the season on time, and I'm just not sure where they stand. Are they still meeting? As far as I can tell, it looks like they are still meeting.
Well, that's a good sign.
Well, they met for a long time yesterday and couldn't come up with anything. So, yeah.
I don't know that it's a one meeting thing though, but still, I think as long as they're talking, there's a chance. Maybe somebody will hit on something that just strikes the right chord with enough people to kind of keep the conversation going. And
that's all they can do is just keep trying to plug away until something comes up. But here's the thing. Both sides believe that losing games is their leverage. That's the problem.
Mm-hmm. Neither of them is scared of the possibility of losing games.
Or they think the other side is more scared
than they are.
Because for the players, they're like,
if the owners lose games, they're losing ticket sales.
Right. But if the players lose games, they're losing salary.
Mm-hmm.
So then what? I mean, it really is a catch-22.
Yeah.
For both sides. I don't know what's going to happen, man.
It's a stare down.
Have you seen the WCC basketball tournament bracket?
No.
Look it up.
Why have you?
Look it up. Look up the WCC.
West Coast
Conference, Gonzaga, St. Mary's, San Francisco
it's
tournament
funny,
bracket.
So I type in WCC and it gives me WCC tourney bracket. Or
that's
WCC
why I've seen
tournament 22 bracket.
That's why I've seen it, because it's been trending on Twitter for a while.
Wow. Okay. All right.
This is not a joke. This is the actual bracket.
After the conclusion of the regular season games, WCC released its Ken Palm. What?
This is the bracket. The 8-9 teams and the 7-10 teams play in the first round.
It's like a ladder. It's like a ladder thing that they do in bowling.
Except that, number 1 and number 2, Gonzaga and St. Mary's
get
a triple bye. Get a triple bye. Talk about your all-time protection bracket.
There you go. You're going to make sure that Gonzaga doesn't get beat too early.
I mean, BYU is in this thing, so they very well could have. I mean, BYU is capable, right? This is the worst tournament bracket in the history of tennis.
Is it?
I mean, it's smart on the part of the WCC, but even allowing
which is all they care about.
But allowing them to do that is awfully rough. Can't imagine.
Well, I mean, you hate it if you're San Diego or Pepperdine, I guess, but I mean, I don't hate it.
Hey, if the goal is to get your best team in
the finals, yep,
this
mission
is the way
accomplished.
If you've not seen the West Coast Conference tournament bracket, go check it out.
Google it. It's pretty amazing.
It really is. Anyway, that's all we got time for today, guys, on our instant reaction. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us as always on Monday and Reaction Monday. We got plenty of stuff to get to later this week. Hopefully going to talk about at some point this week, we'll get some bracketology talked about. We'll talk to Chip Walters on Wednesday. He's going to push back a day because he is flying out tomorrow. So there's exciting news.
We're also going to talk to Jeff Pearlman on Thursday.
Jeff Pearlman on Thursday, which is huge because he's got a little something coming out that we're going to be paying attention to and watching.
And watching.
So yeah. Anyway, going to be great. Can't wait. It's going to be a great week. So please come back tomorrow, 2:00. We'll be back here on all of our social media channels and our Facebook page, of course, our Facebook page is part of our social media channels, but also our podcast. You can check that out as well. Hopefully JP will be back tomorrow and I ain't got to worry about all this other stuff because I'm struggling. It's okay. For Mo and JP back at home, I'm Chris Yao saying have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.